how's it going, guys? I hope your day is going well. And today the video we're touching on are some of the biggest challenges that I've actually faced within the last 3 years of outsourcing to the Philippines to virtual assistants. I myself have not had this issue as much as other employers that I've seen, but a big issue is actually virtual assistants not really working. Okay, I communicate with my virtual assistants, I think, more than other people do. Well, I know that I do, especially because, you know, virtual assistants, they're all networked, right? They, not all of them know each other, but, you know, virtual assistants typically know other virtual assistants, and they talk and they have a community. And, you know, I'm very close with my main virtual assistant. You know, he's been with me for 3 years. He's like my brother. You know, he just had a kid, and I love the hell out of him. You know, he's a great guy, and we talk a lot about, you know, people that are working for other employers. So we actually have an office in the Philippines, and it's a co-working space, and there's other virtual assistants there that will come and work in our co-working space that work for other people in the United States or Australia or whatever they might be. And, you know, like, there's virtual assistants who have literally admitted, like, I sit here and I move my mouse to make it look like I'm working, because as an employer of virtual assistants, you can actually have screen sharing software and you can actually monitor your workers. And it's kind of sad because you know, I feel bad for the virtual assistant because I know that eventually they're going to get fired, right? I feel bad for the employer, which I've actually communicated to some employers in the past, letting them know, like, hey, your virtual assistant is actually not working. And a lot of times I'm not even mad at the virtual assistant. Okay, because I never have had that issue of a virtual assistant not working because of how thorough I am with my communication and, you know, how constantly I contact them. So, you know, I think a real big misconception is really relying on these workers to always be working. We're human. Like, I mean, before you were an employee, you had a job, right? And when you had a job, you probably had a supervisor, or you probably had a manager, or you probably had a boss, right? So, you know, that system is a very common system because we need accountability. We need, most of us need somebody constantly telling us, like, hey, where's this at? Where's that at? You know, somebody who is going to make sure that we're being productive. And, you know, this is... I think the misconception comes from a lot of these kind of like success coaches out here, like the 4-hour work week, like, oh, it's simple, just outsource it. It's kind of like, I feel like outsourcing is being pitched as kind of set it and forget it type thing, but we forget that, man, like, I have my own business and I still have accountability coaches. You know, who's watching the watcher? And because of this, you know, we actually help businesses in the United States get outsourced workers, and what we do is we offer them a space inside of our office where they'll actually have a supervisor who's watching over them, keeping them accountable, so that way, you know, the company in the US knows that their worker is always working. But if you have a virtual assistant right now, you know, I would definitely ask, like, what are, you know, are they really staying productive? And another thing too is, you know, are they sandbagging, right? Like, are they so good at what they do that it really takes them 10 minutes to finish, but you think it takes them an hour? You know, these are things that I'm always trying to understand. I'm always trying to understand what it is that my virtual assistants are doing. And, you know, not that I'm trying to like milk my workers and trying to make sure that they get as much productivity done because I'm paying them money, blah, blah, blah. But like in business, when my workers are actually working hard and they're making sure that they're getting their stuff done, well, my company will automatically grow when our work is done on deadlines, when our marketing emails are going out and our marketing text messages, and we're building our email list and we're reaching out to companies. And, you know, if they're only doing a portion of what they're supposed supposed to be doing, well, that means that my company is going to grow a lot slower versus, how quick it would be if everybody was on point. And, if you're a generous person, which I hope that you would be if you're thinking about virtual assistants, I would hope that you would be incentivized to bonus people out. And that's like another thing, man, is, that's gonna be, it kind of goes into another topic we'll talk about in another video. But you have to make sure that your workers are actually working. And until you can afford to have a manager or a supervisor, or you have like a place that manages and supervises them, that's where you have to be, and that's your responsibility. So I just don't want you to fall into the trap of, that's another thing, right? You might think that your workers are working and they're not, and then after a couple of months you try to figure out why this outsourcing thing doesn't work, but really it's your workers were just not being diligent with their work, and you were just not being diligent as a business owner, and managing your workers. So not actually working, guys. So thank you for watching this video. We're going to have some more here coming up real soon. This is part 3 of a 6 video series. Thanks.